There is no biblical mission without biblical holiness. It's central and vital to the people of God. When we live God's way in obedience to His commandments, it's going to make us a little different. Oh, but there's a blessing in store in that difference. And the purpose for that blessing is to be a lighthouse to the nations so that. In other words, when you honor your mother and father, it's going to make you seem a little bit different. In a culture that casts away elderly folk and their family. When you refuse to lie and cheat in your workplace, it's going to make you a little bit different. When you keep the Sabbath day holy and receive the blessing of it, it's going to make you a little bit different. When you keep God's revealed commands, it's going to make you a little bit different. When you dress based on biblical principles, it's going to make you a little bit different. You're going to sound a little bit different when you refuse to cuss and take God's name in vain. When your families seem to behave a little bit differently in a good way, hopefully a little bit more behaved and obedient, people are going to notice. It's going to seem a little bit different. When you exhibit Christian joy in your life, you're going to seem different. When your kids seem a little bit different because Jesus is in the home, your family is going to seem different. When you're bowed by difficulties, but you're not broken because you're leaning on the Good Shepherd, you're going to seem a little bit different. When you're kind and gentle because God has been kind to you, you're going to seem a little bit different. When you give people a second chance because God has given you a second and a third and 100th chance, come on, church, it's going to make you a little bit different. Why? To be a light to the nations, so that the whole world would be saved. And can I just confess something? I know that oftentimes it doesn't feel good to be different. There is a kind of natural gravitational pull, a kind of homeostasis towards being the same, to fitting in. I don't want to look different in any kind of way. I just kind of want to hang with the crowd, whatever direction they're going in. I'm tempted to just kind of go with them. It doesn't feel good. But theologically, according to the Bible, we're actually supposed to be radically different. And maybe you're thinking, well, I don't know. Maybe that was just in the Old Testament, though. It doesn't really apply anymore. Notice this scripture. 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. Notice what the Apostle Peter says. He says, but you are a chosen generation, a royal what? A what? He said, a royal priesthood, a holy nation. His own special people, that you may proclaim the praises of him who called you out of darkness into his marvelous light. So here's Peter, one of the last living disciples of Jesus at this point. His writing to the church, who is now living as exiles all across the world. They are scattered because of persecution. And what does he tell them now? Perhaps he tells them, well, because there's persecution going on in the world, it's best that you lay as low as possible and blend in with everybody else. Maybe he told them, because things are really tough now, you can just stop being faithful to Jesus. Come on, help me, church. No. What did he tell them instead? He acknowledged that they're living in persecution. He acknowledged that times are tough. But then please notice, he said the mission still applies. I want to remind you of your mission. I want to remind you of your calling. You are to live you are a royal priesthood, and you are a holy nation. He reminds them of God's plan. They're supposed to be different. They're supposed to live holy lives. They're to do the work of priests in bringing the message of God to people and bringing people to God.